It's so funny because it reminds me of something that someone told me early on in my journey. And they said that people chase money, but money chases value. And if you build a business that has like value to it and is serving a need and, doing an impact, like money will come naturally.
Hey, beautiful humans. Welcome to the Bold Women in Business podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Honeyman, founder of Honey Be Bold and fellow bold woman in business. This show is all about highlighting women who are changing the world, helping other women, and kicking ass along the way. Let's dive in. Today, I am thrilled to welcome Hyacinth Tucker to the podcast. She's the founder of The Laundry Basket, and I can't wait to hear her share her story. So, Hyacinth, why don't you just kick us off and introduce yourself and tell us what is the Laundry Basket?
Awesome. Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, I guess, wherever you are tuning into. I am Hyacinth, and I'm the proud owner of the Laundry Basket LLC, and it's where we make laundry exciting again. So we are a premier subscription-based, on-demand mobile laundry and dry cleaning delivery solution servicing the greater DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia, and now Toronto, Canada area. And so we are committed to liberating busy professionals like yourself from the stress, the frustration, the overwhelm that comes with doing that dreaded household chore of laundry so that you can have joy and peace and do the things that you value.
I love that description. I think that it's something that so many of us just dread, right? Like
Yeah.
who loves doing laundry,
Here
but
lies.
I love the joy that you have brought to, you're like reclaiming it, right? You're saying like this is something that doesn't have to stress you out. You
Right.
saw a need and you're making it fun again. I love that.
Yeah.
Your passion for this is so clear. And we all have our reasons for starting our businesses, and some of those reasons are practical and some are, I think, very meaningful. We've chatted before, so I know that there's kind of a mix of the two, which is
Yeah.
tends to be the case, right?
Yeah.
What lights you up most about your business today, and how does that differ from when you started this? And maybe actually give a little bit of intro on like how you started this
Got
business.
to. Well, I have to be honest with you. It was definitely happenstance. I cannot say that, in fifth grade, I said, you know what? I want to be the laundry lady when I grow up. So I cannot lie and say that. But what happened is that I'm standing in one good girlfriend's living room and she has clothes everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I have to let people know I mean everywhere. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, I have a psychology degree. So I'm like, are you okay? Is there something that you want to talk to me about? And she's like, girl, I'm fine. She was like, I'm just busy. I'm tired. I'm just done with it. And I realized that she was buying new clothes instead of washing the clothes that she already had, which of course, as we all know, is going to lead to more laundry. But when she said that to me and she's talking to me, I was like, I get it. We spend so much of our days just like, just going, 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 going. And then you add kids to that. You may add a spouse or a partner to that. And then obligations in the community, church. And then it's like, when do you really have time to do all these chores? And laundry just seems to grow and grow every day. It grows. And so it gets really overwhelming. And I realized that it was a need. It's something that, we laugh about. Like we always laugh about, oh, I got to do the laundry today, or, that type of thing. Oh, I hate doing laundry. But I realized there was a need. So when she said, I wish there was someone that could come and take all this laundry and do it for me, and I'll pay for it, I said, okay, I'll help you out. And literally, that is how we got started. So it really was, we started out with just me just helping a friend, me just wanting to be like that good girlfriend that just will help out. But what it has turned into is something completely different. So now we look at self-care. And we look at the fact that, especially as women, we're doing so much, doing so many different things. We laugh about this superwoman cape, but it really is killing us. And in certain neighborhoods, it's killing us more. And so we really need to carve out time to really learn to delegate and to outsource. And some things we've gotten, comfortable with, so we've gotten comfortable with like cleaning services and now Uber Eats, now even Instacart for your groceries. So now we're trying to get people to be comfortable with laundry being another thing that we outsource and delegate to someone else. The second thing is that we realized that people were not even really doing laundry correctly. They were just putting in one shirt And, because like I need that shirt for tomorrow. So now we're wasting all this water. We're not really looking at labels. We're not really, really taking care of the clothes that we spend so much money on. So now we become a sustainable company. And now we do a lot of education, a lot of tips on how to care for your clothes, how to make sure that they last, how to make sure that you're reducing the carbon footprint, how we take care of like our planet as well. So that is now my passion, is what lights me up. And just be able to see the impact that we give each day. So yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. What's really key to me, what's really coming through is your business is not just about doing laundry, right? And I think that so many of us running businesses, it's so easy to lose sight of kind of the bigger vision, and the thing that really started us on this path, and also the potential of our businesses, right? And so you've really taken something that started as I just want to help a friend, which in and of itself is also amazing. Right? The fact that you started as like, I just want to help a friend, and you're just a giving person, but you turn that into a business, not just helping a friend, right? It's helping the community, it's helping on a societal level, it's helping on a planet level, right? There's so many farther reaching impacts. And I think that all of us, like as entrepreneurs, we have the potential to really make an impact that's so much bigger than our tiny little, our tiny little world. One thing that I see often is that women especially start businesses often out of a place of necessity. They don't really necessarily see a path to being financially solvent. And so they go down this path of starting a business. And I think that it's easy to kind of like get bogged down in that, and to lose sight of the real freedom that can come with building a successful business.
That's right.
That is values driven, right? And that's like how my whole approach to branding and web design and kind of marketing is really all about being based in values, because that's what's going to drive you to achieve something so much bigger, and also it's going to drive you to be so much more successful, because when we love what we do and we see the impact of what we do, there's so much more potential for success.
It is. And it's so funny because it reminds me of something that someone told me early on in my journey. And they said that people chase money, but money chases value. And if you build a business that has like value to it, and is serving a need, and, doing an impact, like money will come naturally. And so we are definitely seeing that with the opportunities that we've been given, and just, how we're scaling and growing this business.
Yeah. What would you say is your like superpower? You talked about the woman with the cape, but I love that the kind of the imagery, but like what do you think is your superpower when it comes to solving your clients' problems?
I think that, I know that my superpower is allowing people to be seen. And I think that in this world, we don't really listen enough. We don't really, just go that extra step when it comes to dealing with people. And I think that that is one of the superpowers that I have when we deal with our clients, and we see and that's why I say we talk about like the frustration, the overwhelm. It may not be something that someone says, but I can see through like actions and, just from like body language, like I see the sense of relief. And it's like the freedom that comes with the service that we're doing. And it honestly, this is what keeps me going from day to day, because, people see like the great stuff, but it's like there's days that I'm like, I don't do this anymore. But I know that I have clients that are depending on me, like literally depending on me. Like this is like such a game changer, for them. It is like, saving their relationships. And so when I see that, I'm like, I see you, I hear you, I understand what you're going through. And I think what allows me to be that person is because I'm that person too. Like I can't say that I was in love with laundry, it has now put me on a different path now that I'm in front of dirty clothes every day. But, I understand. Like, so when people like try to explain and they be like, okay, it's just like, it's piled up because we don't do that here. We don't need, there's no judgment. There's no need to explain. There's no need. It is just, we are here to help. We're here to lighten the load. pun intended. And, that's the kind of communication that we have with our clients. They're allowed to be themselves. They're allowed to, yeah, it's a really great space that I'm in, and I'm loving it, honestly.
That's amazing. And I'm sure, I imagine that in this line of work, a lot of people are coming to you with kind of a sense of shame
Mm-hmm.
for various reasons,
Yeah.
because I mean, especially if you have a lot of female clients, I think that we as women think that we should be able to do it all,
Yeah.
right? We think that we should be able to handle everything and
Mhm.
do it all with a smile. And unfortunately that is a message that has been
Yeah.
continues to be sent to us on a
Mhm.
societal level. And I think that there's starting to be some movement, some positive movements
Yeah.
in that arena, but it's still something that's an uphill battle. And
Mhm.
so I'm sure that it's just so valuable for people to feel
Yeah.
like they can come to you and not have to be embarrassed or have to explain themselves, and
Mhm.
they trust you.
That's right. That's right. And I hold that very valuable to myself. Yes.
One question shifting gears a little bit, I wanted to focus on another superpower of yours
Mhm.
that you and I talked about just recently. This is not really about how you're helping your clients,
Okay.
but how you're running your business. And so most of the listeners of this podcast are business women, right? Women running their businesses. And so I recently reached out to Hyacinth because she and I have been connected on LinkedIn for a while, and it feels like almost every day Hyacinth is posting about another media outlet that she's gotten the laundry basket featured in. And I think that getting media coverage is something that
Mhm.
feels very daunting for a lot of business owners. And so I'd love to hear just a little bit about how you kind of have had such success in that arena and what other business owners can learn from your experience.
Right, right, right. So I will first say that visibility is one of our goals. Like, so for the business, our goal from the beginning is like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it big, and we want to expand. So, we made sure that we put systems in place so that as we expand to different areas, it would be a little bit easier for us. So one of the things is increasing our visibility and our credibility. And so being in media was one of the ways to do that. And honestly, it started with me just, writing I wrote like a little article, and it got picked up locally, and then it got syndicated, and I was just like, oh, I like this. This is fun. So it really is finding out what it's like having like a niche, like, right, we understand like some of the pains that we've talked about already when it comes to laundry, some of the feelings that go behind it. And that was like one of our first articles, and so it was just like people really were drawn to it because it was just like, oh wow, they like understand, like, what I'm going through. And and then it started going to like now being more informative. And so when you pitch, make sure that that you're giving value to the people. It's not like, hey, I'm Hyacinth, I have this really cool laundry service, like, won't you come visit me, and that type of thing. Like, it wasn't even about that. It was like, and it's been a while, so I'm not going to remember, but it definitely was about the frustrations and the stress that comes along with doing laundry, and that type of thing. That's what I wrote about. And that's what really resonated. So make sure that you're pitching something that's going to be of value to a lot of people, like not just for your own intrinsic purposes. And then definitely go to like most editors for like magazines, journals, publications. Like, you can find their information online. Just email them and just be consistent. Like, you get some no's, and then you get that one yes. And then once they see that you are consistently sending them stuff of value, they'll start to now come to you. And then there's also people that can help you. So there's also PR people that, they do this, as a business as well, if you want that extra help, if you just feel like you don't have the time, because it can be time consuming, like, reaching out to people and pouring through stuff and then like writing articles. It can be time consuming. I definitely agree with that. But once you get into a groove, it's gonna come. It's gonna come, and then just be ready to know what you're going to do with it. So now you've been published in an article. What are you going to do with that, to kind of like increase the brand of your business?
Yeah, and I think that that comes back to an idea that I talk about all the time, which is consistency. Like
Hmm.
that's really what that's what drives marketing success more than anything is just showing up and being consistent and finding the thing that works for you. And so, I have a lot of clients who will come to me and they just feel overwhelmed by marketing, like that, which is understandable.
Yeah,
I get overwhelmed by
yeah,
marketing also
yeah.
because uh, I suffer very much from shoemaker's children syndrome, which is,
Got you.
it's easy for me to do this for other people, but
Yep,
for myself,
yep.
it can be challenging. But the
Hmm.
key is really finding the ways that you can be consistent and
Yeah.
making it as accessible as possible. And I think that for your business in particular, media coverage is so key, right? You're a local business that obviously you're expanding
Hmm.
to different regions, which is so exciting. But you need feet on the ground and people really seeing you in real time. So that is it's so important for businesses like yours to have that local coverage. But for a business that's maybe based online or more of a less location dependent, different types of marketing might be important. And so I think that a lot of people think that you need to do it all,
Yeah.
and it comes back to that same idea, right? We can't do it
We
all.
can
we have to
do
we have to
that.
find the things that work
Mhm.
for us. And so yeah, I think that you have clearly found the rhythm that works for you, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor,
I
right?
am.
I'm sure it did not happen overnight. It happens
No,
with
no. It's
putting
been
money in the bank, and and eventually it will start paying off.
Yeah, it has been definitely a labor of love for a while, but I also want to say that it also aligns with our core values. One of the things that we want to be is accessible. And so what it does is that people now, they feel like that connection. I'm just like that. Like how you used to have like those advice columns and then you would just call in and be like, "Dear Abby, this is what's going on." And like that's how it's like starting to grow. So now people come to me like, either DM or LinkedIn. They be like, Hyacinth, and my son's da 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 and da da da. And I'm like, well, this is what you should do. And so it kind of gives me like that, because what do they say? People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So now we're not just a face. It's not just a face. Like, who's that Hyacinth person? It's someone that is really there. I'm a real person. You can like, reach out to me. And once again, I'm not saying, have that business where like everybody's DM you and emailing you and calling you, but you do need to have some type of like approachability when it comes to your business so that people
Yeah.
feel like when I'm buying and when I'm supporting, I'm really supporting, someone that I can kind of get behind. And so hopefully that's how people feel about me and the brand and, the company. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you definitely exude that. It's just like that. I've had the pleasure of chatting with you before, but I think that even before we chatted, I was just like, oh, we'll be friends. And I think
Okay, we're good friends there.
that's the really what you're putting out into the world, and that actually is also a really important piece of when thinking about a company's brand. Is it always a good idea to tie it to a personal brand? Not always for larger companies, but I think that for most small companies, and certainly if you're a solopreneur or running a small operation,
Mhm.
you're the voice behind it, and people want to connect with
Yeah.
people, not with brands. And so having that really strong personal brand tied to your company brand is really, really key.
Great.
Um, and so I'm so glad that you mentioned the one value, accessibility. I My next question was going to be about your core values. Tell me, three or five, however many you have. What are the core identity pillars for your company? Like, what do you stand for?
Yeah, so the first thing is reliability. We know that life can be so unpredictable. We don't want to be one of those things, right? We want to be a company that when you need us, we're there. So we're open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're convenient. So we come to you wherever you may be. We've come to hotels, we've come to churches, we've come to work, we've come to your home. So wherever you are, we've gone to trunks of cars and been like, okay, here, give us what you need. But we definitely want to be like that company that, is definitely convenient. So we're convenient, we're reliable, and we want to be transparent. So that's another one of like our core values. So when we talk about like pricing, there's no guessing, there's no I don't know how many pounds I gave you. We have a simple bag policy. So whatever you put in that bag, it's that price. So you know exactly what you're paying, what you're getting into when you deal with us. And the fact that we make it convenient. I mean, we make it accessible. So you go online. There's no a whole bunch of stuff. It really is like a button that says "Do my laundry now." You click it, you schedule, you pay, and that's it. And then you know that someone is going to be there. So those are things that we don't want to overcomplicate the service. We don't want to put more headache on you that you're already dealing with. We just want to be a trusted partner to help you manage your household. And that's all we want.
That's fantastic, and I think that that's such a key differentiator, because I know, like, I've seen some of these laundry services where you have to fill out this whole form and it's a whole thing, and then you wait for someone to get back to you, and it's
Yeah.
just and maybe they're not picking up that day and you don't know, and it's just a nightmare. So the fact that you're making it really easy and accessible is such a key. I've said this already in this conversation, but I'll just say it again because it's such a treat to see someone love what they do so much. It just comes through. You just love this work and what you're doing for your clients. One question, this is one of my favorite questions always, is if money were no object, what would your business look like today? If you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing a little bit differently?
Wow. Ooh, that's a loaded one. Oh, how would the business be different? I mean, of course, the most basic thing is that we would be bigger. We would be in every city and state, by this time if money wasn't the thing and we can just, do that. I would say that we would be more comprehensive, like in one of our services. So one of the things that we honestly we're not, we come to you, we pick up and whatever, but we also would like to have like a mobile unit that actually goes into certain places where certain places that, like, let's just say like homeless shelters or places like that, where we actually can do it on site and not have to, like, take it off site. We would like to have mobile units set up in different areas around in different cities, where people can literally just come and actually get their laundry done right then and there on the spot. I would like to have that.
That's great. That's great. And I know I've seen things like that, especially when there's, like, a disaster area or something like that. You see these big companies that will kind of
Yeah, they have like
do
the van
initiatives
and
like
yeah,
that. But to have that as an ongoing,
yeah,
offering, it
yeah,
would be huge.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I love that. Where can people find you?
Okay. Well, you can definitely find us on our website at www.laundrybasketdelivery.com. We're also on Facebook at Laundry Basket Delivery. We're on Instagram at Laundry Basket Delivery. And if you want to connect with me, Hyacinth, definitely find me on LinkedIn. I don't think there's too many Hyacinth Tuckers, so I think you'll be able to see my smiling face when you go into there.
You and I have that in common. There are not too
Yeah.
many Rachel Honeymans.
Right.
Although I will say that I over the summer I started getting emails that were meant for another Rachel Honeyman,
Oh.
and it was this other Rachel Honeyman. Her son was in summer school and was really struggling, and I had no way to get in touch with this. They kept sending report cards, and I was like, this poor kid. I don't know how to get in touch with his mom, but I'm not his mom.
Oh my gosh.
There might be another Hyacinth Tucker out there that
Yeah,
you'll come across at
yeah,
some point.
there probably is, but just look for the smiling face. That's me. But definitely connect with me
I
on
will.
LinkedIn.
Amazing. amazing. And I will include links in the show notes. But I really appreciate you sharing your insights. Your business, the business that you're building is just so, such an important service that you're offering. And I love the values driven mentality behind it. It's not just a business that exists for, I always say that I want to work with businesses that don't just exist to make money, right? We all need to make money, but I think that the world would be a better place if we were all operating for some higher purpose. And I love that you're doing that. And it's just been such a pleasure to be connected with you. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm definitely honored to be here.
All right, beautiful humans, that's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Bold Women in Business podcast, hosted by yours truly, Rachel Honeyman, with music by Shmukalele. This show is brought to you by my company, Honeybee Bold, where we build bold, unstoppable brands and websites for kick-ass women in business. If you are a female entrepreneur or dream of being one, and you want to take your business to a level that no one can resist, reach out to me at hey@honeybeebold.com for a free vibe check. Honey, be bold. See you next time.